Hello everyone. Today we will be talking about another example for loop, that is to check whether a given number is prime or not. Sir, before I talk about the number is prime or not, first we'll see the theoretical point of prime number. A number which is divisible by 1 and itself, that number we call it as a prime number. Fine. So what I'm supposed to do, what are the variables which are required to run the application? I'll take two variables called as I and n variable are the two variables which I'm supposed to take. I and n variable. N is the variable which I wanted to check it out. This is called as my input number, for which I want to check it out. This number is a prime or not. So now I'll take an I variable. Already we have taken I variable. I'll start I with 1. Sir, why you have started I with 1? Because my theoretical point says that about a prime number, a number is prime whenever we say the number which is divisible by 1 and itself. You know, to get a reminder and to check whether the given number is prime or not, or working with getting a reminder, you know the operator which I am always supposed to use, that is your mod operator. Am I right or wrong? We always use mod operator. I'll try to write in this way: n mod I double equals to 0. If the condition is true, I'll try to take one more variable. I'll take one more variable, that is count. Because I said a count is a variable which has to be counted the number of times this n variable has divided. If it is divisible by 1 and the resultant value is 0, then I'll increment the count by count plus 1. If the condition is true, I'll increment the value by count plus plus. If not, I'll not do anything. So let us try to code it accordingly. The way I explained, I'll repeat it for one more time. I'm just writing an application for given number is prime or not. To check whether a given number is prime or not, first we need an input variable called as n. That is the number which I'm taking, that is input number. On this, to check if it is prime or not, first I'll start my loop with I, and I is going up to n. That means it is going in incremental order. If it is going in incremental order, already you know the set of rules and regulations which we have discussed in the previous classes. That is, it should start initialization with the minimum number. So I took I is equals to 1 as minimum initialization. Then I less than or equal to n. I'm taking less than or equal to n because I want to reach up to 10. If the given condition is true, I said increment the value by count plus plus. Sir, why you to count as 0? For I and n, you have not taken any, you didn't initialize any variable value for I and n, because I and n are the variables, these are local variables, and the initial values are not required for this. If I am not initializing these variables, by default, these variables takes a garbage value. But for the count variable, I can't do any operations with the garbage value, because I want a count variable should be accommodated. Means I want to check it out, this number is divisible by how many times. That's the reason a count needs to be started with 0. If I don't start with 0, it takes a garbage value. So that's the reason I initialize a count variable with what? 0. N is my input number, I is the number, that is what initialized with 1. Sir, how should I do code? I'll try to write in this way. For I is equals to 1, I less than or equals to n, I plus plus. If the given condition is true, it will enter into block. Then if n mod I double equals to 0, if this condition is true, count plus plus is incremented. Now after this loop is executed, I'll just check it out if count for a given variable is 2 or not. If the given variable count is 2, then I say that it is a prime number, else not prime. This is what the pseudocode for the given application. If the given number is count is 2, then we'll get an prime number. Fine. If a given number count is other than 2, then we can say that the given number is not the prime. Fine. So I started with 1. Let us try to work on this. I is equals to 1. I less than or equal to n. Let us consider the given n value is 5. 1 less than or equal to 5 is true. Enter into block. 5 mod 1 double equals to 0 is true. Count plus plus is incremented. Okay. Count plus plus is incremented. The previous value of count was 0. Now it becomes 1. So let us try to do code on this. Then I'll try to explain with diagram how my code will be executed. So let us start with the code. Hash include stdio.h is the header file which I am going to include. Next is to clear the screen, we use an header file called as conio.h. Then let us write void main function for the code. As I said, I require three variables. One is I, one is n, and count is equals to 0 are the three variables which I took. Then use clr This is used for clear the screen, buffer screen, previously whatever we have written. Some program has already printed some value on the console that has to be clear. That's the reason I use clr. In a C programming language, to write clr, it has to be declared after declaring all the variables. It has to be called before declaring all the variables. Okay. So I took I is equals to integer I, n, and count. So as I discussed, I'll write I is equals to 1, I less than or equals to n. Before I go for I variable, I should take an input value of n. So I'm making my program as dynamic. So let me try to take enter the value of n. This is what the customized message which I'm giving to the user. Then by using scanf, let me try to read the values of n. That's what I say. Percentility ampersand of n. Then by using a I variable, let us try to iterate this I less than or equals to n I plus plus, because I know that the given condition n mod I need to be repeated for n number of times. Then only I can check, I can get whether this number which I'm getting is a prime number or not. Okay, I'll write the condition. If n mod I double equals to 0, if the given condition is true, then I'll just increment the value of count to count plus plus. Or we can write in other way as count is equals to count plus 1 also. Both are same. Either you can write count plus plus or count equal to count plus 1. I said after iterating the entire loop, I want to check it out count for the given number. If a count for a given number, if it is 2, then I say that printf given number is, on a new line I'll say given number is prime. Given number is prime. Yes or no? Fine. Else I'll say printf new line given number is not prime. Given number is not prime. Let us try to take some of the examples and let us try to work on the application. Let us save this code as p1.c, that is prime demo1.c. Fine. Let us try to compile the code. One error unexpected. Okay. Let us try to remove this error. Fine for me. This is the code which we have written. Okay. Let us run the application. It is asking for me to enter the value of n. I'll give the value of n as 3. Now the given number is prime. Let us try to re-execute the code. I'll give the number as 4. The 4 is a number which is not divisible by only 2, which is divisible by 3. That means it is divisible by 1, which is divisible by 2, which is divisible by 4 also. So count for a given number is 3. So I say I have written a condition like if the given count is 2, if I get count as 2 for a given number, then only I'll print that given number is what? Prime. Otherwise, I'll print the given number is not prime. So keeping the same code aside, let us try to work on the algorithm. Sir, how does my code works? We'll check it out now. Okay. I'll just keep it aside and I'll just take the variables as one is I variable, one more is n variable, and one more is count variable. 3 variables I took. Let us try to take the initial values for these variables. This is my I variable. This is I, fine. This is n for me, and this variable is count. This variable is count. Initial values, whatever we have taken, please try to assign the values. Initial value of this is 0 and initial value of n was garbage value. I'll just write it as garbage value first. And the initial value of this I variable is also, initial value of this I variable is also garbage value, which is garbage value. Let us try to work on the code. Sir, how does it executes? Let us try to check now. Fine. I is 0. First, I is garbage value, n is garbage value, count is 0 initially, whenever we have declared a variable. Next, when I is, when I enter the value of n, I say, let us try to take the default value, so the value of n, which I'm going to take from the keyboard was, I'll take 3. I'll not go with more iterations, I'll just take the value as 3. Then I variable value, let us try to initialize. Already we have initialized in a for loop saying that I is equals to 1. So I'm just initializing the variable I value is also as 1. Fine. Let us try to work on the code now. This is 1. Fine for me. Then for I is equals to 1, I have written some condition called for I is equals to 1. Let us try to work on that code. That is step 1. I is equals to 1, I less than or equals to n, I plus plus. I'll not write the entire code now because already I discussed about this n mod I double equals to 0. If the given condition is true, I said do count plus plus. That's what I said you to do it. Okay. Let us try to work on the code now. We'll update the values. I is equals to 1, there is 1. N, I 1 less than or equal to 3 is true, enter into block. Whenever the condition is true, it will enter into block. Then n mod I, n is 3, 3 mod 1 double equals to 0 is true. That means my count plus plus has incremented. Now the value of count will becomes what? 1 and now. The value of count plus plus is 1. Previously it was 0. It was incremented because of this condition was true. When a count was incremented, it was the last statement to be executed. It will return back to I plus plus. Then the value of I will be modified to 2 now. The previous value of I was 1. Now it will modify to 2. The value of I will be 2 now. Then enter into block. 2 less than or equal to 3 is true. So this condition is true so that it will enter into block. After entering into block, the value of n is 3. 3 mod 2 double equals to 0. The condition is false. If the condition is this condition is false, then count plus plus will not be incremented. So does it comes out of the for loop? No, because still this it will check the condition whether this condition is true or false. I plus plus, now I becomes 3. Now I becomes 3. Now for a given value 3, let us try to check it out whether the condition whatever we have given is true or false. The I will become 3 now. 3 less than or equal to 3 is true, so that enter into block. Value of n is 3. Value of I is 3. 3 mod 3 double equals to 0 is true, so that it will return. Now the count variable will be modified as, now count variable modified as 2 now. Previous count was 1. Now the count will be 2. Now again loop repeats. Now the I value which was previously 3, now I value will be 4 now. Am I right? I value will be 4. Now I variable value is 4. When I reaches to 4, now let us try to check with the condition. I is 4, n is 3. 4 less than or equal to 3 is false, so that it comes out of the for loop. After coming out of the for loop, we can just check it out in my application. Once it is coming out of the for loop, this is my for loop. This is my for loop. Whenever the condition is false, when I reaches to 4, the condition is false. It comes out of the for loop for checking whether the count variable is true or not. What is the count which I got from the iterations? We got the count value as 2. 2 double equals to 2 is true, so that it prints the given number is prime. This is how your code is going to be worked. Yes or no? This is how your code will work. When the count is 2 for a given number, then 2 double equals to 2 is true, so that it says that given number is prime. This is how your code is going to be worked. Let us try to compile it again, and I'll show you the same application which I've taken. I'll just take a number as 3. I said given number is prime. Even my program is giving the given number is prime. Hope you understood the concept of working with the given number is prime or not. We have taken a dynamic input. It is not a static input. We have read the variable from the keyboard by using scanf, and we checked whether a given number is prime or not. Okay, thank you. If you have any doubts, you can comment me.